Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Red and Black Final Chat. I am Alexander T. McCready. Alongside me are UGA men's basketball beat reporters Jen May and Nathan Berg. Guys, Alabama completely dominated Georgia today, 80-60. Georgia never really had a foothold in this game. You know, Alabama dominated pretty much everywhere. Three-point line, underneath the basket. Heck, they probably dominated the water cooler too. And this game really turned from bad to worse for Georgia with about 2 minutes left in the first half, and that's when Jordan Harris supposedly carried the basketball and got called for the carry. Mark Fox marches all the way over across the midcourt to start talking with the official, and we'll let you take a look at what happened exactly. So 2 texts and an ejection later, and Georgia's left without a head coach and a 14-point deficit. Guys, was Mark Fox validated in his disagreement with the officials there?
I think the one call itself wasn't enough to get worked up about. I think it was a combination of there had been some bad calls in this game, and then obviously the Texas A&M game, the Florida game. I think Mark Fox just finally had enough and couldn't take it when he just lost his mind. Like, he was funny to me and Berg before the game. He didn't have a jacket on. Mm-hmm. That's all the game Berg said. Well, it's probably because he knows he's going to get heated at some point. Yeah. And then, sure enough, he didn't make it a whole half, and, he's gone.
For those of you that don't know, Mark Fox, when the jacket comes off, he's always heated. That's the perfect sign to tell that Mark Fox, he's really getting into the game. Were you going to say something?
I think that Mark Fox's biggest problem was not the call itself, but the lack of fairness. He believed that a Bama guard on a previous possession had committed a carry that was similar to Jordan Harris's, and he just thought that the call should have been made both ways, and he was trying to defend his player.
Yeah, I mean, whether it was the right call or the wrong call, coaches many times, if they realize their team is just not having a foothold in the game, they'll do something to try and jazz them up, get them fired, and this is probably one of those things he tried to do, because Georgia literally from the get-go was just flat. I mean, they had nothing, and Fox actually he put that blame on himself.
Yeah, in his press conference he said, he didn't do a good job getting his team ready to go, and that's it's tough. You play at Texas A&M, you have a controversial loss on Saturday. That's a long plane ride, bus ride, whatever back, and then you're playing on Wednesday night, and not a great crowd because it's a Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, which is ridiculous. So they did come out flat. They got beat on the glass pretty bad in the first half, and it's just it just snowballed from there.
And it looked like after the Florida loss, which obviously heartbreaking every time, Georgia bounced back really well. But losing to Texas A&M on the road, the way that happened, it's a lot different. A&M is near the basement of the SEC. It's a much worse loss, and it looked like mentally these guys just were not in it to start the game.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama just wiped the floor in every facet of the game with Georgia. Jed, is there one area you can pinpoint that you feel like Alabama just totally thrashed Georgia?
I mean, 3-point shooting, Alabama ended up with going 9 of 15 on threes, compared to 4 of 16 for Georgia. And at the start of the second half, game wasn't out of reach. It was like a 12, 14-point game. I think Alabama comes out and hits a 2 or 3 threes, right at the beginning of the half, and they build a 20-point lead within 4 or 5 minutes, and that was pretty much, that put the game out of reach for Georgia.
What about you, Nate?
I got to look at rebounding. These Georgia bigs were completely dominated. Offensive glass, defensive glass. At the end of game stats, Bama out-rebounded them 40-27. That was even worse in the first half. I think there's a point where Alabama actually had more offensive rebounds than Georgia had rebounds total, and that was not very early on. That was midway through the first half.
One possession I feel like that was totally indicative of this game happened in the first half. Alabama had 3 offensive rebounds on the possession, just kept getting looks at the basket, and eventually Georgia did wind up getting the takeaway. But you could just tell Alabama was hustling to the ball, and Georgia was just letting back and trying to let the ball come to them. They just didn't look like they had it today.
And you could even hear it in the crowd. Every time they would get an offensive rebound, the crowd just an audible groan every time Alabama come to an offensive board.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to be a defensive game. Both these teams are great scoring defenses. Alabama number 2, Georgia number 5, and really it was one defense that showed up today. So is there anything you guys feel like Alabama was doing to just kind of shut down Georgia and make them, I wouldn't even say one-dimensional. I'd say no-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Berg said, they dominated the glass. They didn't let Georgia get any consistent rhythm going at any certain point. I don't think it didn't seem like Georgia had a run more than, they had a 6-0 run, I think, in the second half, but other than that, that's it.
Yeah, I think this was all about the physicality. These Alabama players were much more willing to, initiate contact, box out, and just physically they completely outmatched Georgia all night.
Yeah. And it was all over. It was all across the board too. Alabama, great job for them being versatile and having their bench players come in and replace their starters when they needed to. I mean, it was just scoring from everybody on this team. And I think it was Alabama at 29 bench points to Georgia's 19. So, I mean, just great job for Alabama just having everybody contribute to this victory. All right, guys. I know it's difficult, but I got to ask you, who's your top dog today?
Well, I mean, I guess you would have to go with Deontay Maton.
So that's what I was thinking. I don't know anybody else who could be.
I mean, he ends up with, let's see here. I mean, he ends up with 20 points, typical Deontay Maton game. He didn't have a great game defensively, but none of the other Georgia bigs really did either. He had a couple threes in the second half that looked like they might spark a Georgia run, but it never materialized.
Yeah, it's got to be Yante. I just, looking at these stats, nobody else really turned up. J.J. Frazier, only 4 points on the night. Juwan Parker, who has been on fire recently, I mean, he put in 10, but no one else really was able to make a difference tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick note on J.J. Frazier. This is his first game in the last 12 where he has not reached at least 10 plus points in the game. Well, that's going to do it for us. For Jen May, Nathan Berg, I am Alexander T. McCready's. Make sure to follow us at Red and Black Sports. That is our Twitter handle. Check out all the great articles, redandblack.com. And thank you, gentlemen, very much. We'll see you next time.